It's best to hug with your heart these days. That's what the news anchor said. This resonated deeply with Brett, as her 2-year-old granddaughter had tried to give her a hug, but her parents held her back for fear of infection, and she cried. Brett said she cried inside as she hugged her really hard with her heart. Brioni was inspired by the recovery of the environment and nature while we've all been polluting less during lockdown. It also reminded her of the simple pleasures in life at the moment, being able to sit in the garden with her family and listen to the birds. Susan says when she thinks of hope, she is looking forward from crisis to new life with help from our natural and social worlds. The pendant's natural elements and swirls of movement are inspired by our angels, family, friends, first responders who help us navigate and support us through difficult times. Sally designed a COVID cage to surround the globe to represent the pandemic that we're experiencing right now. Vines flowing between the bars show that nature is beating this awful virus. There are flowers and animals on the vines as they are taking over the world. Sarah's turtle reminds us to keep swimming, even when times are a bit rough and treacherous. Turtles have always been a sign of strength to her. Slow and steady wins the race. Anka's dragonflies and water lilies represent how fragile our lives are these days, hoping to start flying again after this moment of temporary rest or unrest, valuing our freedom of recuperating spring through art. Holly's entry was inspired by the composite stone. Its fractured pieces, when joined together, make a thing of beauty. Many of us have been fractured by life's challenges. Holly believes we will overcome and reform into something more beautiful after this health crisis and turbulent political time. Kathy's COVID tear drops to a stone, and just as the stone has many facets, life has as well. She says there are facets of hope, peace, and joy, with many rays of colors at the end of pain and tears. One just has to look and wonder. Elizabeth's seashell pendant brings memories of the ocean, a place where she gravitates to find hope, peace, inspiration, a way to ground herself with the rhythm of the waves, and joy when sea life is spotted. As an NHS midwife, Ray recently delivered a beautiful baby girl born sleeping. Her parents were an inspiration, showing that we truly can overcome anything in life despite tragedy. They are working to rebuild their lives and rise from the ashes like the phoenix. For Chloe, the dragonfly has always symbolized hope and beauty. With this piece, Chloe reminds us that everything passes and we will get there eventually. Charlene intended to make a waterfall, but as the piece evolved, it became more apparent that it needed to bloom. As peaceful as flowing water may be, there is strength found under this majestic canopy. Deeply rooted, she will weather another storm and flourish even stronger. Oh yes, she will. Celine calls her piece Rising Phoenix. She hopes that we will all rise from the ashes of an old world, stronger and willing to build a more balanced society. Marianne says we have a new normal now. We're all slowly figuring out how to navigate our ways through our days. This piece is meant to inspire a bit of hope and a bit of whimsy. Days can be filled with a plethora of emotions, and we're all trying to find our way the best we can. Laura says life is circular, a spiral. What goes around comes around. Our worst challenges, our highest highs. This pandemic has challenged us to our core. The spiral of life reminds us that this too shall pass, which in turn means there is hope in everything. Carol's creation reminds us to focus on the heart. Keep the faith, whatever that is. Love, and remember wisdom to learn and grow. Anne says there's no more powerful symbol of hope than the phoenix rising from the ashes. She represents the hope of rebirth, a new dawn, society rising again and flourishing after this crisis. She's carrying Pandora's jar, in which the only remaining thing is hope. Toby was inspired by a tradeswoman advocating for worksite hygiene who offered the discarded copper industrial sprinkler heads in exchange for jewelry. He saw the coronavirus shape in the sprinkler heads design. These wearable pieces honor all people's hope and all our new normal. Dory says the meaning of this piece was simply to keep oneself occupied with the learning of new things while on an enforced staycation. Hannah's piece was made from brass washers that she saved from her late father's toolbox and from corroded bulb covers she found in a jar. He was a plumber. This piece now contains a little of her dad's ashes, which she keeps close to her heart. Laura says COVID-19 brought her into the darkness of depression, and she was amazed when she finally woke up with the desire to create again. She thought it was lost forever, but it was like the sun. It finally reappeared. She wants to share hope and love with others who may be struggling to get through. Stephanie says the blessing Buddha is a symbol of transformation. His placement into the egg calls to mind life, hope, rejuvenation, and a new beginning. The tears surrounding him are what the universe demands to recognize the pain we are feeling. The angels weep. True hope is never passive, according to Nina. It's always ready for springtime. The heroine of this piece is sitting under a wisteria in a wildflower meadow with the patchwork of green fields to one side. She waits for summer and perhaps the return of her loved one who has promised to be with her in more clement weather. Julie says there is more than light at the end of the tunnel. There's a whole bouquet of flowers to cheer you.